everyone, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, CraftyJenCrafts, and I'm back today with another floss tube. This is floss tube number 2. My floss tube number 1 I did about a month ago, and I want to just thank everybody for watching, leaving it a thumbs up, a comment. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed sharing what cross stitch I have been working on with you, and so I want to hopefully keep this up and have it be a regular thing here on my channel. So today I have a lot of just random things to show you, of course. I have some previous finishes I'm going to show you because I've pulled them out to maybe fully finish them because they're kind of like Christmassy, and now we're, you know, getting to that Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday time. So I have some previous finishes to show you. I'm going to talk a little bit about a trip I took. I went to the Cincinnati area for a Dr. Mario video game tournament, and I also went to Keepsakes, which was super awesome. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that and show you my haul. I went to a beginning hand embroidery class at my local quilt store, so I did set that out here to show you. I've really been wanting to learn how to hand embroider, so I'm very excited that I was able to take that class. And so I will show you that. And then, of course, just what I've been cross stitching, which has still been quite a bit. Just to like say, I guess, like my cross stitch now I feel like is going to start like going down a little bit. If you don't know, I write knitting books as my job. That's like the primary thing I'm doing right now again. And so I am really in the thick of writing my next book, but I'm like really excited about this one. Like, okay, I'm not going to go like on a whole work tangent, but like, I've been excited for books I've been writing in the past, but I don't think anything compares to this one. But it is a lot of knitting, and so, you know, sometimes the knitting cuts into the cross stitch and other crafting time, which is not a bad problem to have. But so I do think like now over the next like 3 months until my book deadline, the cross stitch is going to go down a little bit, but you know, even when you do crafting, like for your job, you kind of like need that other craft that's still your hobby. So there will still be cross stitching. I have been working on organizing all of my whips because I do want to do a whip parade now at the end of the year. I said this in my first floss tube, but I'm not always the most organized when it comes to like writing things down. And I kind of do, I guess, like sort of a bullet journal of like how I keep track of my cross stitch. But I am kind of like a squirrel when it comes to my cross stitch and all of my crafts, really. It's very chaotic. And so I spent like the last week or so, part of the time when I was like, when I would get like, you know, need a break from like sitting and cross stitching, I went through all of my like cross stitch project bags. I had like linen with like threads just like folded into them with like a start, you know. So I pulled everything out. I got everything into my notebook. I actually UFO'd quite a few things, not quite a few. I mean, maybe like 4. So I'll be showing those to you in a future video, what I plan to do with the UFO things. But so now I feel like my cross stitch is like very organized. Everything is like in my notebook with my whips, which I think will help with just like choosing what to work on, like going forward. Cause I just, again, there was just like so many like random things just were like, what pattern is this even? And I'd have to like go to my like folder with my PDFs and like try to figure it out. Anyway. So the whip parade will be coming. I don't know if that'll be like the next floss tube or like the one after, but like in the next month. I have, I think right now around like 31 or 32 whips, which was honestly more than I thought, but I'll be excited to show that to you soon. Okay, so let's get into it. So first I want to show you some previous finishes. I was pulling things out when I was going to the quilt store for my hand embroidery class because I wanted to get some just like fat quarter fabric for like to finish some of my things as pillows. And so I kind of like pulled everything out. So I just have a couple things here to show you. So the first one is Kringle. I wrote it down over here. Kringle and Woolard from Plum Street Samplers. I stitched this maybe about, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. I'm pretty sure I did this on 25 count Lugana. And I think I just used threads in my stash. I honestly don't know, but oh my gosh. I pull this out all the time to think about fully finishing it. I thought I wanted to do it in a frame, or like a frame with like some, you know, like garlandy or pine tree branches, something on top of it like that. Then I'm like very into finishing things as pillows, but I don't really have any pillows this big. What do you think I should do? I love it. I mean, this has been finished for years, and I like pull it out and just look at it. This fabric did come, I think, from 123 Stitch, so it is serged. So for now, I just have it like sitting out, like where I have some of my cross stitch, just like, you know, kind of like flat on the table or whatever. But obviously I want to do something more. So that's that. And then the other one is a Wee Santa from Heart in Hand. It's the 2013 one. I did this one on some kind of Aida. I don't know if it was 14 or 16 count. Oh my gosh, look how cute. And this one I am going to finish into a pillow now, I've decided. And I got this fabric from my quilt store. And I didn't have this with me, but I think I did a pretty good job. It's a lot of pink, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of pink in with like my Christmassy things. So I thought that would maybe be nice for the back of the pillow. So those are my previous finishes. So hopefully next time I am coming at you with a Flosstube, maybe I'll have at least this one fully finished. Again, this one, like, somebody tell me what I should do. I have a Halloween cross stitch that I did where it was like a store-bought wreath from the craft store. It was like a Halloween kind of wreath, and then I like finished the cross stitch. I kind of like just like stuck it in the middle of the wreath. So I thought like maybe I could do something like that. I don't know. Please let me know. Okay. So those were some previous finishes. Okay, so then some like things I finished since my last Flosstube, which was about a month ago. This is about to get super nerdy. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I went to the Dr. Mario Championships in Cincinnati, Ohio. They were actually in Sharonville, Ohio, which is just outside Cincinnati. I'm a child of the 80s. I love Nintendo video games, the classic ones, and Dr. Mario has kind of always been my game. If you don't know what it is, it's like a puzzle game. It's kind of like Tetris, like that classic game. It's kind of puzzly, and you can like play 2-player against each other. I have a couple friends that I play a lot of Dr. Mario with when we're together still. And I don't know, my husband and I just kind of got this idea that why don't I just go try to enter an actual Dr. Mario tournament? And I did terribly because playing at home casually with your friends is obviously a little bit different than playing with people that are like really into like the competitive aspect of this video game. Like my style of play being like just what I consider a good at-home player is just very different than like when you're playing in that like competitive, trying to win like a tournament with a bracket situation. Everybody there was like so nice and so just open with like their knowledge and being encouraging and everything like that. But anyway, I'm telling you all of this because I did like make some things to kind of have like, you know, to go with like my outfit and stuff. So the first thing that I made was this necklace for myself. I just cross-stitched like the Dr. Mario has like pills. They're actually vitamins, but everybody calls them pills. I just cross-stitched one of the pills onto white perforated paper. This was from a pattern that I had purchased off of Etsy that had like some other aspects of the game in it, but I just like did the little pills. And then I just backed it with some felt here. And then I just like tacked it onto this very cheap, like, you know, necklace chain that I had. And then I wore it. That was my little outfit. And then my husband, Alex, he like does not play Dr. Mario. He doesn't like puzzly games like that. But he came with me in support. And so I made him a little pin. And so I just bought these just like little pins there, like off Amazon. And then I just like tacked it down. So he wore that on his shirt. That was very cute. And then not cross stitch, but I crocheted myself some little pills too. And I kind of like had them hanging off my bag. So, these I just did like whatever you would do for like an amigurumi where you make a circle and then I just, yeah, went straight and then decreased. So very easy. But that was super cute. So yeah, so that was super fun. I came in like 68th out of 71. I lost just about every round I played and I never had more fun. So I don't know that I'll be like going next year. I think I need to practice a little more, I guess, but it was so fun. And then I got to go to Keepsakes. So I'll show you the haul a little bit and talk about Keepsakes later, but I wanted to just show you those little finishes that I had for the Dr. Mario tournament. So now that we talked about all that, let's get into my new starts. So I did have a couple new starts since the last time we talked. And the first one was Dracula's Castle from the Witchy Stitcher. This is out of her book, the Witchy Stitching book. And so I have the physical book, and then I find like I know I could make like a photocopy and everything, but I really do like working from my iPad. And obviously you could scan this in with your like printer or whatever. But I actually went and then you can buy a PDF version of the book. So I purchased then also the PDF version. Like, do I think you need to buy 2 copies of this book? No, you could just make yourself a personal copy or, you know, scan it for your personal use. But I know that I'm going to make a lot of things out of this book. And also maybe it's just because I write craft books for a living. If I really love something like this and I know I'm really going to use it, like I don't have a problem like buying a physical book and then buying the PDF because I know I'm supporting that author, because I know if people do that for my books, they're supporting me. So, but yeah, so I did buy the PDF of this book. You can find a link, I think, on the Witchy Stitchers website. But this is the pattern here. It's so cool. I love it so much. So I am using the called for DMC. And I obviously am not stitching it on black because I do not like stitching on black. I just do not enjoy it. So this is a 32 count linen. It's Dusk from Fiber on a Whim. And I think it looks really good. It's kind of like a bluey kind of gray. But I have some other like red stitching projects. I don't know if it's on this exact fabric, but very similar. So I think like all of those will look really nice together when I someday finish them. So I did a lot on this. Like I started, this is, I think, the middle or almost the middle here. So I just started here and then obviously came all the way back down, or all the way down. And then here I'm already getting into like, here's where the words are going to be. So kind of got almost all the way down to the bottom here in the middle. So, I don't know what percentage or anything I'm done, but oh my God. This might be my favorite thing I've like been cross stitching on this year. I don't know. I really, really like that one a lot. And then the other thing I started was Heart in Hand Christmas Tiny Town. I don't have all of the Tiny Towns now in my stash, but I do have quite a few. And I love Heart in Hand. So many things I love. And I just kind of wanted to start one. I've been seeing a lot of people on Flosstube and Instagram doing the various Tiny Towns, and I just could not resist any longer. So here is my start on that. So I did one of the houses right there. And then for the threads, I'm just using things from my stash, which, you know, I do quite often. I just like, you know, I said this in my last Flosstube. I was getting the Color and Cotton Thread Club for a pretty long time. And I love just picking out my own colors. So I just like go to my stash of threads, which are mostly Color and Cotton, and then that's what I stitch with. So these are the ones I've used just so far. And then actually, speaking of Color and Cotton, these 5 together actually came as one of the thread clubs in like November. It was either 2022 or 2023. But these 5 came together in the club. And I actually, normally when I was getting the club, I would take them out of the bag, and then I have my threads separated kind of by color, and then I would like put them in their like respective little containers based on the color. But every once in a while, if the color combo of the 5 threads in the bag were like, I mean, they always were good, but they were like so good that you're like, oh my gosh, I want to stitch something in that color combo. This happened a couple times with the thread packs. I would leave them together in the bag, and then like I had a separate little box for that. And so this was one of them. Obviously, these are super Christmas colors. They are, again, all Color and Cotton. Snowflake is this one, obviously. Jingle Bell. It's like a beautiful gold. That's really nice. Jolly Suit. Good Cheer, very nice green, and Fruitcake, which is the brown. And again, that looks so good together. And then so far I've picked out 2 more classic color works. I'm using Jolly Holly, which is the green, and Hickory Sticks, which, you know, these 2 are used in tons of Christmas patterns. So yeah, so that's what I'm using so far. I think there's a couple more colors I'll need to pull in, but I'll just grab what I need at that time. So those were my new starts. Okay, so moving on to my whips here. Let's see. Let's move some things around. Okay, so I showed you 324 by Works by ABC last time, and I did put a little more work on it for a few days after my last Flosstube. So I have hit the 50% mark now. There's 36 of the, like, since I'm doing the 36 color version, I'm doing like a patch of 9 in one color, and there's 36 of those. And I think now I'm on number, I think this is number 19 maybe. So halfway there. I'm still just loving it so much. I'm using the called for DMC, and this is a 32 count Lugana. It's like the light taupe or the platinum Lugana. It's like one of those. And I just love it. Oh my God. Maybe I'll have to work on that one tonight a little too. So that's 324 by Works by ABC. Then the next one I worked on for a little bit was, this one's called Thirza Goes Goth. It's by Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. That's Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World Flosstube. And so she has her own design business, Hemlock and Rye, and this is one of the patterns. So there is a reproduction sampler that she did, and the girl's name's Thirza. I can't remember her full name. And that one was more like true to the original in the colors and everything. But then Julie did another version that was more like kind of punched up colors, a little more goth, a little, I don't know, just different. And oh my gosh, I just like loved this version. And so I'm using mostly the called for DMC. There was only a couple that I didn't have or didn't get, and then I just used something really close. So, but it's mostly the called for. And then I am making a few changes. So in the pattern, her name is like across the bottom. I'm gonna fill that in with something else. Currently, I think I want to put like Enjoy the Silence, like that Depeche Mode song. That is TBD, could change. And so I am sneaking in, I'm going to spell out Thirza with the letters throughout the sampler, just to kind of like honor the original person that made the sampler, but we're still making it my own with the Goth colors that Julie chose, and then like changing the bottom a little bit. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Lugana from Color and Cotton. I think it's cobblestone. It probably was a Fabric of the Month Club at some point, is my guess. But I love it. This one's so fun to work on. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should have stitched it the other way on the fabric, but I wasn't sure if I was going to make it down here. So now I've kind of like come down. I only have to go maybe like maybe down another like 10 stitches. So it'll be a little tight down on the bottom here, but that's okay. So pretty. Oh my God, I love it. I started this one probably a couple of years ago, probably when the pattern first came out. But yeah, I like to pull that one out every now and then. I think I do have the threads right here. Let's see. I can show you how pretty. So those are all of my DMCs there for that. Yeah, so I have them all like in here. When I have a project that has like a bunch of color, to me, this is a lot of colors. I like to put them just like in these little ones and just shove them in the bag so they stay organized. Okay, so that was Thirza Goes Goth by Hemlock and Rye. And then this I've been working on a lot in the last few days here. It is Prairie Schooler Nordic Holiday, book 191. I've seen this many places, but what caused me to want to do these is I had been watching Sherry from Colorado Cross Stitcher, and she had been talking about these and like showed the thread, and I don't know, I think she might have even stitched them. And oh my gosh, I just loved them. So I have now stitched 2 and have started on the 3rd. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So I'm doing this on a 32 count platinum Lugana. So I've done 2 of them so far. This one here, and then this one down here. And now I've started a 3rd one. I don't know if you could tell, it is a different color. So the first 2 here, I didn't bring the threads in here with me, no. The first 2 here I did with the called for DMC, and they're so pretty. And my original plan was to do all of them, well, all the ones I was going to do. I don't know if I'm going to stitch all 9, but I wanted to do like maybe 3, 4, 5, something like that. And my plan was to do them all in that called for DMC. But I don't know, literally I finished this one last night. Last night when I finished this one, I'm like, I don't know, maybe if they didn't all exactly match, that might be cool. So I just pulled out, of course, Color and Cotton, pulled out some Color and Cotton threads to do a couple more in like, quote, fancy floss. So this green is Sweet Basil, but it's a mist dye from Color and Cotton. I had bought some of the like mist dye bundles in the past. So it's Sweet Basil mist dye. So I don't know if that's what Sweet Basil actually looks like. And then the red, I'm going to use Color and Cotton Cardinal, I think. So hopefully I'll have that to show for you next time. But when I was at the quilt store for the embroidery class, which I'm about to get to, I brought this with me to like look for some like fat quarters, because I am going to finish these into pillows. My ornament finishing is like sort of terrible. I'm just not happy with it. I just need more practice. I just need to like take my time more, but I'm like very into finishing everything into a pillow right now. So I decided I was going to make these pillows and not ornaments. So anyway, while I was at the quilt shop, I bought just like just a couple. These 2, I don't know, I might save more for like Prairie Schooler Santas, but anyway, let's see if we can show you everything at once. There we go. So I don't know, I thought they would kind of go, just for the back. I mean, nobody's really going to see the back, but I don't know. got some cute little fat quarters. So then, yeah, speaking of the quilt store, my local quilt store I go to is Warman Cozy. It's in Barrington, Illinois. It's a really cute store. I go to the Tula Pink Club that they have once a month. And then they had a beginning hand embroidery class, and I really want to be better at embroidery because I'm pretty bad at it. And so it was just like a 2-hour beginning class. My friend Jenny, knitting quilter, I mentioned her last time too. Her and I do like a lot of the crafts together. So she came too. And it was really great. It was just like very basic, just learning some basic stitches. But we were given, I don't know what fabric this is. Sorry. I know they do have it still at the quilt store, but I'm just not sure what it is. So we got this fabric that has like all these little like frames and the flowers. And so we just like put our fabric into our hoop and then just like practiced our stitches. So like, this is all what I did in class. Like, we just did some like running stitch, back stitch. This is like what is this? Like a laced running stitch. I'm obsessed. It looks like a knitting stitch kind of. So that's what I did in class. Some of it looks better than others. But I think with the embroidery, it's just like, okay, so with cross stitch, obviously, you know exactly where to stick your needle because there's like a hole in the fabric where your needle goes. And like with this, using like this fabric, it's like the world's your oyster. You could stick that needle anywhere. And so that free formness I really like, but I am trying to let go of the fact that like it needs to like look, I don't want to say perfect, but like uniform, and I know that with time, your stitches will just naturally get more uniform. It's like knitting, it's like crochet, it's like cross stitch. Over time, it just starts to look a little bit neater, a little bit nicer. But there's always like this like free form flow to embroidery that I feel like I need to let go of the like, it needs to like, every stitch needs to be like this many millimeters, or I don't know. Anyway, so then after I came home, I did go to another little part of my fabric and I just kind of started again. I did some just like running stitch, whipped running stitch. I think I might turn this into like that laced one. It's kind of doing some stems. I'm very into making these like little roses. I don't know if they're showing up. Mine probably look like crap, but oh my God, these are so fun. I want to put them on everything. So yeah. And obviously you can learn all this stuff on YouTube and that, but I don't know, sometimes it's nice to go have that human interaction. And that was the first like actual class I took at that quilt store. I go for, like I said, the Tula Pink Club, but we more just like chit chat, show each other our projects. Like we're all working through like kind of on one quilt, like all the same quilt, most of us, so we just like talk about that. It's not like a sit down and take a class. So yeah, it was really fun to take a class there. So, again, so I don't know, you might be seeing some more embroidery from me here and there. There's just like little things like, I really am interested in adding it to knitting and crochet. Honestly, that's sort of the reasoning behind why I want to learn embroidery so bad, is because I do love it when people like take the yarn and embroider things on their like knits, and crochet too, both. It's amazing. So yeah, so that was a really fun class, and it was fun to like pick up the little like fat quarters for for finishing some of my cross stitch. So yeah, so those are like the main things I've been working on. Okay, now let's talk about keepsakes. So like I said, I went to Cincinnati for that Dr. Mario thing, which again was, God, it was so fun. I'm just gonna say one more thing about that, and it's like Alex, my husband, I think I said that already. Alex and I, we try to like do things now, like we always say, like for the plot. You can get really like bogged down on the state of the world sometimes, and obviously that can be like very heavy. And it's important to know what's going on, and etc. But we are just like trying to like do more like things that seem like stupid fun, you know, and going to a video game tournament, that was like, and I mean that like in the best way. It's just like, what a random, for me, like what a random thing to go do. It was so fun. And yeah, being in Cincinnati was great. So after the Dr. Mario thing was over, we stayed in Cincinnati for a couple days. My husband was like born there and like lived there very, very briefly in his life. So we just kind of like hung out there for a couple days. And we did go to Keepsakes, which is in the suburbs of Cincinnati. And let me just say, that store is so full of cross stitch. I just don't think I've seen anything like it. And I feel like I live right very near where Welcome Stitchery used to be in the Chicago suburbs. That was my local needlework store until she retired. And, you know, now the business is, I think, up in Minnesota. That store was really, really full of cross stitch, but I feel like Keepsakes might be giving that place a run for their money. It was just so full and just so many samples, and I don't know, and you just went, it's like in like an old house, and then you go to like the upstairs, and like just how everything was separated in the rooms upstairs, it was just really cool. I ended up getting basically just a few charts, a couple threads, a little odds and ends while I was there. Alex, he like actually likes going to these stores with me. So some of the stuff I saw, he picked out because he liked. So it'll be fun to like stitch those, or I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm going to get him cross stitching. So I don't know. A couple of these, I'm like, did I buy these for me or did I buy these for you, dude? You know what I'm saying? We'll see. So anyway, here's what I got. The first thing I got, and I knew that I wanted from there, was one of these frames. I had been seeing these on Flosstube. I believe they are made, I think, in the Ukraine, but they're for like the perforated paper, and you can like put them in there kind of like as a frame to hold while you're stitching them. And I do like to do those Mill Hill ornaments. And so I decided to pick one of these up. I left it in the bag to show you, but I'll probably pick out one of my Mill Hill kits here now and give this a try. I'm really excited. Sometimes when I'm holding, like, especially when I'm doing like the little ornaments, that little piece of paper, I just like death grip it with my hand, and then my hand ends up cramping. So I'm hoping that'll help a little bit. So I'm excited to try that. And then let's see, I pretty much, I think most of these, I saw samples, because again, that shop is just so full of samples. Also, can I just say that I like walked in and like Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching were just like in there. It's like Steph works there and Pam like goes there all the time. It's like, duh. Of course they were there. I just was surprised. Like I went in and I was like, oh my gosh, you exist in human form, you know? Anyway, so one of the other things I got was Carriage House Samplings Matters Choice. I just saw somebody have this on their Flosstube recently too. But I saw the sample and was like, OMG. I love my one color samplers, even though I like never finish them really, but I love working on them. And then this is kind of like, I don't know if this is like a gray or like a black or a blue, the thread. Oh, Atlantic Blue is what it says here. But I got some Gentle Art Cinders, which is kind of like a maroony purpley red. I thought that might look cool. I don't know what fabric. I'll pick something. So I got that. I got this Prairie Schooler book. It's Prairie Christmas, book number 10. I saw the pattern, I picked it up. Then I was like, no, I have quite a few Prairie Schoolers, you know. I'm like, do you need them all? I mean, maybe. But anyway, I saw it and I put it back, and then I saw the samples that they had of these, and then I picked this right back up. So there's several of these I want to do. I love like the squirrel here. Oh my God, the cat. I mean, there were just like, with the Prairie Schooler ornaments, if I look at them and I feel like there's like at least 2, but like if you're getting into 3, 4, 5 you want to stitch, I do feel like they're worth it. I mean, this whole thing was $12.50 and there's probably 9, right? Yeah, 9 ornaments. So I don't know. I feel like that's a good deal if you're going to stitch like a few of them, you know. Let's see. I got this one by Brenda Gervais, Mice in the Sewing Room. I've seen a lot of people like do these. I love the Brenda Gervais. I've done a couple of her Christmas ones I have as pillows. And so I'm excited to do that. I want to do next year, I want to do more like little smalls that I can turn into pillows that are a little more any time of year, because a lot of my cross stitch pillows, like they kind of fall mostly into like Halloween / fall, but that's mostly Halloween, Christmas, and then like patriotic political commentary on the state of America. As far as like my pillows go, and like, I just want some more like little things that I can leave out during the year. Cause then I feel like, you know, when I'm in the summer, I don't have like, I do have like some of the like red, white, and blue stuff out, but not a lot, you know? So anyway, something like this could be out in the in-between times. So that I do like that one. That might be one I'm starting soon. This one is Simple Abundance by Summer House Stitchworks. And I saw the sample at the shop and they actually did their own conversion, which I didn't realize when I picked up the pattern. And then Steph was so nice when I was checking out. She asked me if I picked this pattern up because I saw the sample and I was like, yes. And then she gave me the piece of paper. I have it in here, which is their conversion. So if I want to do it using their conversion, I have that information. So I really like that one. And then these last 2 patterns are the ones my husband picked out. Okay. So this first one is Sue Hillis Designs Happy Halloween. I probably would like maybe do some of these as like ornaments or pillows. I don't know if I would really stitch the whole entire thing. That seems like a lot of stitching. Like, you know, I don't know. That seems like a lot of stitching to me, but I could like totally see doing some of these as like ornaments or something like that. And then this other one I'm definitely stitching. I'm gonna take this one out of the bag so you can really see it. This one is Fairy Wool in the Wood, Mermaid and Sailor 2018. Look at that. I mean, this is just hilarious. I don't stitch a lot of like mermaid sea things, but sometimes I do kind of collect some. I do have kind of a collection of mermaid patterns that I see, and then I'm like, oh, I should stitch that. So I don't know, maybe that could be a focus for in the future too. But Alex saw that one on the wall and he really liked it. So I'm like, I'll buy that pattern, you know, maybe I'll stitch that for you maybe next year or something. And then the last couple things I got this Keepsakes corner gauge. I like to, if they have like a ruler corner gauge, like a little charm to clip onto your bag when I go to the cross stitch stores, especially ones that I'm like visiting away from home, I like to pick something like this up. And then Keepsakes has a shop cat named 310. I mean, people probably know that from watching Just Keep Stitching. But anyway, I saw the cat and the cat was awesome. I think it's a girl. She's so cute, 310. And so they have these like little needle minders, and 310's got like kind of a little missing tip of her ear, and so that is represented on the little thing. So I just got, that was so cute. I just couldn't resist that either. So that's what I got from Keepsake. So if you're in the Cincinnati area, I highly recommend you go check that place out if you can. Everybody was really nice in there. There were some people in there stitching. Just everybody was very nice. Alex said it was his favorite like local craft store that he's ever been in. So you know, and he always comes with me on the vacations, and so you know, and we were like telling them that that's like high praise if your husband's like, this is the best cross stitch store. But we really did like it there. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so that's kind of it in terms of what I've been working on, and then like my haul and stuff like that. I do have just a couple things I'm planning on working on soon, so I thought I'd just sort of share my plans with you. The first one is, I do want to start a Prairie Schooler Santa. I don't know. I have a few of these patterns, definitely not all of them. But I want to do the 2006 Prairie Schooler Santa. I have gotten, you know, more into sewing, quilting. Well, I want to be into quilting. I'm trying to be into quilting, but like I've gotten more into using my sewing machine this year. So I thought this one would be really fun to do since it's got the sewing machine and everything. And so I have a bunch of these pieces of 32 count vintage country mocha. They're just like from 1, 2, 3 stitch. I got these like forever. I have had these a long time, like from when I first kind of was getting into cross stitch as a hobby. And here I already did one Prairie Schooler Santa. I think this one's the 2020 one. So cute. And so I'm just going to put the other one over here. So I can get like 2, I think, on each one. And I don't know, I have a few of these pieces of fabric. So for the Prairie Schooler Santas, I have been using, I think, the called for colors on all of these. This one, do they all call for ecru for the beard? I'm using, this one does, but that's what I'm definitely using for the beard. But I think like in this one that's called for, so I don't know if it's like that in all of them. But yeah, I'm really excited to start that. And then, like I said, I'm organizing for my whip parade. I have like my notebook here. So this is my notebook. And so, yeah, I'll just like briefly show you. So like I have written out, I like went through again, made sure my whip list, they're not totally in order. Cause again, I found like 4 or 5 things that I was like, ooh, they're not in the notebook at all. So they're not in order in here, but I have them all written down. And then I like, let's see. Well, here we go. I'll just show you this one, the Nordic holiday. So like, this is how I write them in here. You can see it's kind of a mess. I crossed things off. This was the sticker that was on the fabric. And then I just write the fabric, the threads, any notes when I started it, when I finished it. And then I basically do 1 page for every project. I have like 30, and this is a pretty thick notebook. I actually, just started this one. So what I do is like, I have my notebook, and then eventually my notebook gets full, or I've ripped out so many pages from like taking notes about other things that then it also gets full, but then there's also way less pages. And so then once it gets full or very close to full, I basically will transfer everything into a new notebook. My last notebook was like half the size of this one. It lasted me like over 2 years. So this one will probably be 3 or 4 years I'll be working out of this one. We'll see. Unless I go on like a starting tear or something. So I do end up like recopying stuff. It takes me like a few days of like copying a few things into the new notebook, but that system works for me. And I don't really keep track of what I'm stitching every day or anything like that. But anyway, so I've been organizing all the whips. So you're probably going to be seeing just like some of my old whips coming into my Flosstube, because now I've like seen everything that I have. And then also I'm excited to again show you that. I don't know if that'll be like the next one towards the end of the year. That'll probably be my next Flosstube. And then I made a decision on what I want to start in the new year. I don't always do like a new year, new start, or like start something on my birthday. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just like if the mood strikes. But I saw this pattern, and I don't know, it felt like the right project for a new year, new start. So that's what I'm doing. And the pattern is, I just have like a piece of paper here. It's Jan Hicks Creates Carnival. I saw this on a couple of Flosstubes. I was just like watching a bunch of whip parades, so I'm sorry I don't remember where I saw it exactly. But I saw this and I just loved it. I have done some other projects kind of in these colors, maybe not with the orange, but like with the red and the pink and the blue and the green. And so I don't know, I just thought it would go really good with some of the other things that I have made. And I do enjoy like doing geometric patterns in my stitching. Like if I have to match this on the other side, that's good. And so there's a lot of geometry in here. This isn't the best picture, but I encourage you to go look this up online. Yeah. And then, so for the floss, it is in DMC. And I think, oh, there's 13 colors. I wrote that down. And then 6 of the colors, I'm going to substitute some color and cotton. So it's going to be like half DMC, half color and cotton. So, I mean, this is just like a mess, but these are my threads. I mean, it's kind of loud, you know? But I don't know. Okay, so this is kind of my thought. So like out in my living room, like where I shot my last Flosstube, I'm just moving around to wherever it works out for filming my Flosstubes. So I'm in my office today, but last time I was out in my living room, and like out in my living room, there's kind of like a more, I don't know if gothy is the right word, but like, you know, my Handmaid's Tale cross stitches out there. I've said this before, some amount of like Halloween spooky all year round. And so like, that's kind of the vibe out there. But in here in my office, which, I've been talking with my friends and family for years about how my office is going to go through a big change, but it is actually going to go through a change now after my book is done. In the beginning of next year, I'm going to do some kind of like overhaul in here. And I want it in here to be more like rainbowy, bright, cheery. I don't know why this is what I want. This is just like, I want my office and my creative space to be like a unicorn threw up a rainbow in here. And then out in the living room can be all my blood red and black stitches. So anyway, I just think that this will look so cool in here once the vision comes to life in 2026 in my office. So I'm very excited to work on this one as well. So I am going to start that in the new year. If you're interested in working on that with me, I mean, I've said this in my last Flosstube, I'm not great about like a stitch along. You know, I'm gonna definitely fall behind, but if you want to stitch it with me, I do plan to start it basically on January 1st. I don't know that I will get the whole thing stitched next year. Like, I mean, that's some pretty dense stitching, you know, so I don't know that it's going to be like a 1 year and done, but if you're interested in starting it with me, just let me know. That would be fun to do. And I think like you could really play around with the colors to, like do something more in like the color palette that works for your house. Like obviously I love the bright rainbowy colors. I like literally picked it and then picked out like, I mean, look at this green. It's Wimbledon from Color and Cotton. It's like, it's so neon. Oh my gosh. But like, that might not be everybody's style, but could you imagine if you did this in just like soft blues and greens? Oh, it'd be so pretty. So yeah, join in if you like. It's nothing official. We can just talk about it on Instagram if we want. So that's, I think, all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for sticking in there and hearing me ramble about all the random things that I get into in addition to the cross stitch. I would love to know what everybody is stitching right now. I probably will be, you know, going pretty hard onto the Christmas stitching now for the next month. I do stitch like Halloween and Christmas all year round, but definitely this time of year, then I get into the Halloween stitching really hard in October. Now I'm getting really into the Christmas stitching. And I usually will keep that up like through January, and then it'll be like then sprinkled throughout the year. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're working on. If you're working on any Christmas or holiday stitching, are you making any gifts for people? We didn't even talk about that. Yeah, love to know. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.